Hey Everypony, Newleaf here, and today I'm here to show you ponies the best 10 videos we've done in the past year, so sit back and enjoy some of the most interesting and craziest moments. And at the end of this Everypony, of course, there's going to be a little bit of a sneak peek as to things coming up, and even the one or two interesting game thingy that's coming to this channel at some point, Everypony, so be tuned for that. Anyhow, the first entry to this top 10 list is going to be a game called Dead Space, Everypony. It has been one of the games that we finished very early into the year, but it was what I consider one of the most interesting horror games that we've played. It had both the combination of mysterious and fascinating space, but also incorporating horrors like the many different creatures that would come out of the grounds or something and would become the weirdest shapes and truly make you feel like you're being threatened and something is out there to definitely get you. And a lot of times the story did its best to make sure that you felt a little bit hopeless at times.
Just shoot a bunch of these!
At number 9, we have The Rise of the Clockwork Stallions. This has been a game that we've been following for many years, and I think 3 years ago we played a version of this, which, had different graphics, and the one that we have gotten to play this year had better graphics. It was 100% complete and everything, and we finally got to finish our experience that we've started so long ago, and it still holds up to this day. It is original. It has a lot of ways of challenging the player. It is good platforming. It has solid controls, and it offers everything that you could expect from a good platformer. And on top of that, it has so many characters, so many references. I think there is Samus as a pony, you have Little Pip as a pony, you have a lot of, I think some OCs even as ponies. You have a bunch of alicorns in there as well, and a lot of them have their own unique abilities, like Samus has her little roly ball form and everything, so, and the amount of uniqueness in its game design and mechanics is more than enough to put this in a top 10 spot, Everypony. And for our number 8, we go into Fallout 4 Nuka World DLC. I know we have played both Far Harbor and Nuka World, but ultimately decided that Nuka World was a little bit more fun because it had a lot more content to go through, like you had the 5 different parks, and of course you had that huge climax at the end where you power up the whole park and it all becomes yours and you truly feel like you have made a difference to this whole place. And it also has this nice subplot going with the raiders inhabiting Nuka World, and you have this ethical choice on your hose, and you have to decide, are you going to go with them, are you going to go against them, or who are you going to support and who not. And I like that. It is, it doesn't feel like you're building a whole new story like Fallout Far Harbor, but rather it is just like a side thingy, a side quest, and at the end of the day, that's what a DLC can and should be, really. Anyway, on to number 7. And for that, we turn to Starbound, one of my favorite non-pony games, and that is due to the fact that the mods that we've gotten to see in this game do so well at incorporating the pony style. You have so many races that you can choose from. You have furniture from Ponyville, you have your own spaceship that is ponyfiable, you can fly, you can do a lot of unicorn stuff, but if that isn't bad enough, you have the possibility of throwing in Star Wars mods, like we did with the lightsaber. And I think at some point in this game, we essentially were just turning this into a mod showcase by having 10 different mods every time, and every episode felt like you were sort of playing a different game, and I loved that. And being able to ponyfy your game and throw in this much variety is definitely something that I have to point out, and maybe you ponies at home are going to play this too. Seriously, I got a lot of response from ponies who said they were going to try to take their own spin on this, and I like that. That is good to inspire ponies. And number 6 is what I consider to be this year's most interesting dare, Everypony. It was a multitasking one where I was both singing with my voice, karaoke, and at the same time was playing Osu, which is a rhythm-based game that you have to use your keyboard or pad for, and doing both of these at the same time was arguably one of the most interesting and unique challenges. I didn't see anyone on YouTube ever attempt something like this, and me being me and me, being gullible to try just about anything, really, I had to do this, and what can I say, it was an absolute blast to do, and At some point, Everypony have considered to do a triple threat one where it's like dancing, singing, and playing this on the keyboard, but we'll see about that. But this is definitely one of those things you won't forget anytime soon that you have done that in Everypony. Whew, you could try too. Just do it with, you know, a little bit of caution and all that, because I do caution, by the way. And so we crack open the door to the top number 5 with Legends of Equestria, a game that has done a lot of development over the recent years, but this year in particular has been very big for this game. We now have a lot more classes, we have scientists, we have farmer ponies, we have a lot new things going on for the community, a lot more events that are taking place in between PonyCon, and you know, people say this game is dead, but those are the people who aren't in the game. And they're still doing things. There's still more quests to come. There is another class coming. Pegasus are gonna get to do weather soon as a class, by the way. And last episode even we did a little bit exploring with our free camera and got to know Clip a little bit and even got to see some of the new dungeons that are coming. So they're still trucking, and as long as they're still trucking, I'm definitely gonna keep playing this game because it's addictive and fun as heck, Everypony. Number 4, we hit into one of my all-time favorite games, and that is Ponyvania Order of Equestria. We have gotten to do 2 separate playthroughs this year. I think at the beginning of the year, we did the full version, and towards the end, we came back for the Bat Pony class, and I think both of those classes are amazing, but ultimately I decided that the Bat one, the playthrough, was a lot more interesting because it had so many Leaf Logic moments, like, I don't know what she's taking damage from right now, but I should not complain about her taking damage Look at that! What's happening to her? She's taking damage from something and I don't know what it is, but I am not the pony to complain about that. This one, where Chrysalis took damage out of random places, and it happened on multiple occasions, and I also liked the class because it had a lot of variety to it. Like, you had 3 forms. You could become this little mist cloud, you could fly as a bat, you could become a wolf, and at the same time every class had their unique abilities, and on top of that you had the choice whether you wanted to go mage or swords pony, and this variety at the same time also threw a little strategy at you, like when you had to fight a boss you had to come up with the proper setup and everything, and I think that's what made this class so interesting. And definitely going to be interesting to play that again at some point. And spoilers, there is a new class coming to the game, and it is one of the things that we're going to be playing on this channel come 2021. And we are busting open the top 3 with one of my favorite projects of the year. It was the Versus series of Fallout Equestria Remains. What happened here is I was playing this game a few times on my own, and it was like, you know, what if some pony played it with me? But there isn't multiplayer, so I decided to go ahead, find some pony plays this game, and play it together with them. And ultimately we had this wonderful setup. As you see, you have 2 sides of the screen. You have mine and the other ponies. You have a little bit of an interface. You have my deaths and health potions, and I think time was the other constraint. And that just allowed us to play this game in a whole new different area. You're not just, you know, trying to play it down like we have a bunch of times where you're actually playing against something and giving it a little bit of a competitive edge, and you had to strategize and everything, and that stress and all that, that is what really, really pushed this game to the next level, and I liked it. It made you feel a little bit more like you're, you know, actually playing for something here, rather than just being able to survive in the wastelands on your own. And also mod support is coming to this game, but we're going to be talking about that after the top 10. And number 2 has to go to the Karaoke game. We have played this for many, many years, months on months, weeks on weeks sometimes, even when I felt like it. And it has been the source of many hours of enjoyment, and a lot of ponies have enjoyed singing along, making suggestions, and interacting with the channel in different ways. And it was interesting to see the different kinds of songs that people knew and that I got to try, and then I got to do songs that other ponies didn't know, and it was a wonderful way of getting things to know, but at the same time, it was a lot of fun to sing too, and I guess that did carry over to conventions eventually, and I guess I'm kind of a mean singer there, Everypony. No, seriously, you cannot out-karaoke this pony at a convention that easily, I tell you. Nope. Speaking of convention, that is the perfect transition into the first place.
Take a look at everything around you, the smells that truly will astound you, open up your heart, it will surround you in the magic of Heartwarming Eve. The little things that make it better. Little pony spreading cheer. Give a toy a hug, a sweater. Memories that last a year.
But before we go there, I do want to throw a few honorable mentions out there. There's not going to be a clip, but I'm going to mention them anyway because I was considering them. And I have 3 honorable mentions that didn't make the top 10, but I still thought were worth mentioning. So the first one we have was Horse Game. It was a game that made a lot of development and essentially went quiet for 3 years, and things are looking a little bit different. It is completely revamped, and it looks promising, though. The next game that I played that I thought was I guess something that I've been running from for a while was Mega Pony. It is Mega Man as a pony. It is excruciatingly hard, one of the hardest games that I have ever played, but still, I think they made the transition nicely of throwing ponies and Mega Man into one game, and it is definitely something worth playing, but you gotta be ready for a little bit of rage. And the final game that is going to make an entry into the honorable mentions list is going to be Terraria, another pony game. Or better said, a pony modified game that was hard to play, but it was also an interesting one because I'm not very familiar with Terraria, and it was interesting to challenge myself like that. And of course, I did it in a harder difficulty too. But eventually, we came out on top, and I felt accomplished about that one. And I also squealed like a loud mare. I admit that. And the number 1 video has to be the one about HeartsMarmonCon 2020. Let's go a little bit on a story route, shall we? So I have been part of this convention for 2 times, actually, in 2018 and 2020, and this was like the last edition of that convention. And being able to put smiles on faces for 2 editions straight is an amazing feeling that I cannot compare to anything Everypony. And the best thing is, I've gotten to take pictures of the convention and share them with the ponies on the channel so they could be part of this experience as well and see what happened. And it is an interesting thing to see because I was in the Netherlands that time and I don't, go there very much. You see, I'm a pony. But that didn't matter because the people were awesome and we could have an absolute blast. And it was a giant weekend party, really. It's like the song goes, 3-day party weekend. Anyway, Everypony, that was definitely my top 10. I couldn't have picked a better one if I look back at it. But like I said, we did a little bit of a look into the past, and now it's time to take a peek into the future. So, there is 2 things that I've gotten to see that are en route to being finished. One is going to happen earlier, one a little bit later. So, one of the games that we've gotten to see was the Fallout Equestria Remains in Versus, and as I've heard that there is mod support, this is definitely something that I'm going to be keeping a close look on, and if there's got to be mods that make this game harder, or change it in matters that make this whole thing completely different, then you already know I'm going to be down for that. Like, imagine if they made some way for you to have a single hit point, or if they added custom enemies or something. That would be definitely something that I'd check out, and besides, that game is super awesome, and if they can throw mods in it to make it even more awesome, you already have me sold. And the second thing, of course, has to be something that I think I've mentioned before, but I am going to do it again for the sake of this video, and that is going to be that Ponyvania is getting one more class. It is going to be the Alicorn class, and that one suits me because, Alicorn, and I have definitely high desires to play this class the second it comes out, and Ponyvania is one of my all-time favorite games to ever come to the fandom because the people who make it are absolute geniuses when it comes to balancing and designing things. And this is definitely one of those things that I'm going to be keeping a close eye on so that when it comes out, we're going to be seeing it here on this channel. And with gamey stuff out of the way, there's going to be some other things that I'm going to try too. Versus is going to come back to this channel this year. I have another game in my sight that I want to try this format with. It was an excellent thing to do the first time around, and it's going to come back again on another game that is going to be revealed in due time, Everypony. And, of course, the audiobook, there has been a massive delay on that because I had to do study stuff and everything, but we're going to be doing things on that specifically. I think the first chapter for the new year is going to be coming around either late January or the start of February, one of those two. And, outside of that, there is going to be some new horror game. That is also something that's coming to the channel soon, because Amnesia, I guess it wasn't the most favorable things of games that ponies didn't like that much, and I did get my eyes onto another horror game that I definitely want to play, and let's see if it gets scared. And one final thing that I mentioned, there's gonna be another dare. I once made a channel-wide dare at Heartswarming Con Everypony. There's gonna be one of those coming around soon, but more on that later during the first few months Everypony. Anyway, I suppose with that, I thank all you lovely ponies so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. And remember, Everypony, we're gonna be approaching 1,000 subscribers early this year, so keep your eyes peeled for when that happens. Also, if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel and you'll be notified whenever there's a new video. And there's new stuff here every single day, including a pony who had a lot of cider on their New Year's Eve, Everypony. I'm not even gonna mince words, Everypony. Whew. I was knocked out cold.